Good morning. I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. Welcome, everyone who's here. I see there's been a lot of comments already. Before we get started, I'd like to quickly mention that, a lot of us have been really enjoying this 777 energy we've been doing, like these portals we've been having all month. We talked about it whenever I was meeting with Todd a couple of days ago, and mentioned in that live that, there's a lot of stuff coming in September. September was used to be the seventh month in the calendar before all of the changes that were done, the Julian calendar and so on. So we were talking about that. I saw that there's a bunch of comments and questions about that. So I wanted to point that out. Coming into the month of September, we'll have the 777 portal again on the 7th, as well as on the 25th. That's a big day. The 16th, because in numerology, if there's two digits, you add them together and then until you have a whole digit, or a single digit. So I'm out of breath. I was running late. I was trying to help my daughter find her missing doll. Okay, so let's answer some questions. Welcome, everybody. Fleur de Lis here, Mrs. Smart. Donna's here. Hello. This is my favorite time of the week, says Fleur de Lis. Oh, thank you. That was really kind. Let's see. Vegan Vixen, I'm seeing things in my peripheral vision, almost like shimmering water. This is the sky glitter. We call it sky glitter. It's because it looks kind of like glitter. I think that's what you're talking about, shimmering water. Though, no, I think what you might be talking about is like energy. I don't know. It depends on how complete it is. I see what you're talking about in other ways too. Sometimes it's different colors. It kind of looks like I've seen it where sometimes I've said this is a sky rainbow river. They're in the sky and the air next to us. That's really cool that you're starting to see these things. So there's a lot of things that we are seeing that are a consciousness and other parts that are energy that are part of the experience of the collective consciousness, kind of like the air in between when we're having a conversation and we're exchanging energy. That's energy too, and so it's based on consciousness. It's really cool stuff. I'm so happy for you. That's really fun. A lot of people are starting to see this. Other things people are seeing are these orbs. That's really common to see at first. Usually I have found almost always when you start to have sight that you have peripheral vision. So the corner of your eye is easier to see things coming from. This isn't always the case, but usually that is. Often it's like you see movement, emotion. Sometimes it's a shadow. The most common when you're starting to actually see a being in full form is that you'll see like a silhouette around. There'll be a silhouette of somebody with like light glowing around them. And you only really notice the light part, their aura. And that's the brightest part. That's the identifying who they are, where they are, what they're meaning. And that's why it comes forward first. So that's some other things that a lot of people usually see at the beginnings. It's really a fun thing. I had something really fun happen to me is I always go outside and sit for a minute before I do any of my one-on-one sessions or if I go live and a moth in just before noon. Moths don't usually fly around at that time of day. Nothing was disturbing anybody. And a moth came and landed on my left shoulder. And I said, well, on my skin I said to it, "Oh, that's interesting. Why do you want to land there?" And it went straight over and landed on my right. And then I said, okay, I think it's time for you to go. And then it came and landed on my third eye. I looked that up and that has a lot to do with awakening kind of stuff, being your true self. It's just fun. These animals that come into our lives have meaning too, is the reason I'm bringing this up. It made a lot of sense to me and it really helped me understand what's going on in my life right now. So animals coming into our lives, you can look it up really easily by getting in any search engine on the internet and saying totem animal meaning and fill in the blank of whatever the animal is or insect. There's arachnids. There's a lot of cool meanings that we can find. Vegan Vixen says, I'm sorry, I read that. This is your first live, Mrs. March. That's so cool. Well, welcome. Candace says, yay, I finally made it to a live. Hello from Squamish, BC. Oh, cool. Welcome. Mother Nature, been feeling floaty, lightheadedness, and massive exhaustion. Yeah, and these headaches come in every time that there's a solar flare, for me anyway. We're having these headaches that are associated for me with the things that you just described. Usually I feel those things at the same time or very similar time. They're not reporting all of the solar flares as they're happening, I'm finding, at least on the resources that I've found reliable before. One thing that's changed for me is I didn't change any settings, but I have my temperature, the temperature outside always at the base of my computer screen. And occasionally it'll pop up, something about stock markets that I don't care about. Though when there's a solar flare, it'll pop up and it'll say high UV, and it'll only say it for a moment, like maybe a full minute. And that's always when there's a solar flare. You don't have to have those things to know you're having a solar flare. You're experiencing it while you're in it. It's just that it's validating to say, I'm having this experience and here's some data. Also, the Schumann resonance, looking that up, is really a useful resource too. I have all of these things posted in our Telegram group. For anyone who's interested to join that, we have that in the description below. Excuse me. Let's see. Oh, hello everyone. There's so many people here. I love it. Vegan Vixen. Okay, wait, Miss March. This is Mrs. March. Yes, tickling and lots of other stuff. Oh, I think I skipped Donna. Anyone else experienced tickling this week? Driving me mental, brows, ears, cheekbones, mostly neck, mostly. So I'm finding the tickling the most to be around my third eye right now. That's why it was so, it made so much sense to have that moth behave the way that it did, jumping from my divine feminine to my divine masculine for balance, and then meeting in the center. This is the golden child, the Christ consciousness place. And so it's kind of a lot of stuff happening for this. When we have tickling, that's that area of our body, of our energetic sphere and our body balance between the energy and the physical, able to come online. And so that's really an exciting celebration time. I just remembered I didn't turn off my ringtones. In order to avoid that disturbance, I should do that now. So yeah, tickling, as well as when we're feeling there's a couple of different types of tickling. All right. So we also have this full body one that it feels like it moves from one area to the body and kind of like travels, like as if you're going into water and you're noticing more and more of your body's becoming submerged or wet. It's the same kind of concept. This energy, you're noticing that you're actually meeting a frequency and you're moving up. It's a very euphoric sensation, and has sometimes found that there's a joyful pleasure in a sexual nature that comes through as well during these kind of types of activations. It can be a lot of fun, and all can be it can also be really inconvenient if you're in a public place. Vegan Vixen, I'm getting woken up by a message alerts on my phone. When I check it, there's no message, but the time is always 111-222-333. This happens a few times a week. Isn't it amazing? Yes. I have the same thing. A lot of the time, actually, my phone, and I won't hear other types of notifications that had come up through my phone, but that through my phone, however, I'll notice that one, and then it'll be the right time. Carmen's here. He's looking like he's in a devious mood today. Let's see. So Aaron says that it's, I don't know how to say that, but I'm sure that has to do with the time that you're in, perhaps, because everybody else is saying times. Welcome, Aaron. Stephanie, it's good to see you, sweetie. Good day, all. Nice to see you here gathered again. I love these groups. Y'all have such a beautiful energy that comes through. Spirit made me do it. Hello, I love your name. Colleen. Hello from St. George, Utah. Woohoo. Yeah, I was in Utah for a while. There's a lot of amazing energy down there in this part of the world. There's a lot of places where you could go to find these kinds of energies, but it's really fun to see how much is in certain areas. Vegan Vixen says, hit the like, guys. Thank you. That's really nice of you. I'm actually going to make you a moderator. If you don't like it, you can deny it. You can decline it. Let's see. Let's see. Aaron, witnessing some serious timeline shifts. Yes. Oh my goodness. And, okay, so let's talk about this for a second. This is really important. This is something everyone's doing. And I'm not sure if everyone knows that they're doing it. So um, when we get these moments, these flashes, like if as it was like a flashback of some kind, as if you had post-traumatic stress disorder or something. There are these images that keep that pop up, and they tend to be consistent until we release them. And how to do that is, well, first of all, what they are their past life experiences, not always your past life. However, there's some past life experience that didn't get acknowledged, and therefore we came imprisoned. When we ignore something, when we shove it down, shove it, away, or hide it, um, then what we're doing is we're actually imprisoning it. We're keeping it in place, and by the use of judgment is in particular. So when we judge a thing, we hold it in place, we keep it imprisoned, and then it can't go. So it stays there for a long time, sometimes generational, sometimes it's, having to do with a lot of other factors, but you're here to serve that. So when it pops up, just acknowledge it, that it happened, it really happened, something, whatever this thing that you're seeing is, without judgment. How do I feel about it, where does it go in the boxes of categories and stuff like that, just ignoring all of that, just no judgment, and then to release it with love. I know I used the word ignoring when I said don't ignore it, and I'm not ignoring it. We want to not look at how to judge it. That's what I'm trying to say. And so when we do that, it can then be released. And when it's released, that timeline goes away. That's how we're closing. That's how most people are closing these timelines without even realizing you're doing the work. And thank you for your service. It's an emotional experience to have some of these images come through. Some of them are very disturbing images, and many of us have in the past or different times in our lives mis labeled it as a psychic attack or something like that, and so just simply it happened, and you can go. That's all you need to do, and just send it with love, just to propel it just a little bit, so it can have like the beginning of motion and can get out of here, and not have to worry about dealing with it any longer. So thank you for bringing that up, Aaron. That's one example. This is the most common that I described, though there's other work that a lot of people are doing, like in astral and remote viewing, just different types of experiences and meditation, not even fully aware of what you're doing exactly. Some of us are. Amazing, profound experiences in these places. It's so much fun. Dude, it's so much fun. All right. Stephanie says, this at hell. Oh, sorry. She's talking to Aaron. Mrs. March, I'm feeling lots of physical symptoms, but not seeing anything yet. That's okay. That's usually how it happens first. So in the area of your body that we find the disruption to be in the most frequent or most common tends to be the loudest voice. That's the one that needs to be addressed first, or would like to be addressed first energetically. Another way to say that is emotionally. So we can actually look that up. Jumping online again to any kind of internet search engine, you can type in what emotion is related to and fill in the blank. So you can, type in liver. Like I say liver all the time because that was the first one that I really started looking at, because people kept talking about their liver, the area of their liver, and feeling their liver like flicking, like it felt like it was being poked from inside, like almost kicking like a baby, these types of things, or pain, weird discomfort in that area of the body. Looking that up, you'll find that it's related to anger and the difficulty of releasing this anger and things like that. So then you can start to do the deeper healing, of that part of your body where that symptom is coming up, and sometimes we find that like we have almost a whole body experience, and it feels overwhelming. Like you walked into a room and 18 children in the neighborhood all brought all their toys and threw them in the middle of your living room. And so in something like that, we feel overwhelmed. Yes. Though we can, in that moment, decide to pick one. It doesn't have to be the right one. All of them are the right one if they're all talking to you one at a time, you know. And it's amazing too, because as we start to do this work, we find that we start to heal one area, and the other things that are next in line come up naturally. It's really I think it's amazing. It's really beautiful. And the chakra that is near to that body symbolizes the color that is useful in color therapy. So if we're having a lot of solar plexus area above the navel area, then that is yellow and golden. And so we'll bring a lot of those colors into our experience. You can be drinking from a coffee mug that is yellow. You can add a lemon slice to your water. You can, wear yellow shirt that day or whatever, and any color, whatever the color is of the chakra. It really does help. Aaron saw 3 suns at sunset last week. Okay, that's really cool. I've only seen 2, and I've been seeing 2 consistently since 2019. That's really cool. You can see 3. That's really awesome. Okay, so fleur de lis, clouds in the shape of animals. Yeah, we're starting to see more symbols in the sky. I think that it was kind of boxed in the category of imagination and childlike amusement when there's a lot more to it. I've had some of my most profound experiences have been initiated by cloud watching and then getting the meanings and the symbolism and stuff in there. I'm still trying to catch my breath. It's really funny. I feel like that my the lung stuff has been a thing the past couple of days. I've been purging through my sinuses consistently, and it's been, it's interesting though. Someone else had commented on that, and it started making the Telegram group. It made me start to think is that when we have this stuff that's purging from our sinuses, it is purging something that we need to purge. Plus, now it's causing the need for us to cough, which brings in both our throat and our heart chakra at the same time. Remembering that when we're little, they used to say, and at least I remember them telling us that if you ever see someone having a heart attack, to get them to cough because it helps their heart pump. Anyway, so those 2 areas are being activated in this cough. So we're having a cough. I find that every one of the symptoms that we have, the Ascension Symptoms, have more layers. It's doing more than just one thing at a time. So it's really cool looking into that and seeing where it's coming from. Thank you for all the hearts. Hello, everyone, says Irene. Good to see you. Welcome. Hi, y'all from Texas. Marcella's here. I don't know if I said your name right. I forgot. I remember asking you earlier. In the sky, I'm feeling fear of what's inside of myself. I feel the seed of this fear, and it feels like I won't be able to endure it if released in mass. These feelings this feels beyond all of the emotional symptoms. I got what you're saying. And so the opposite of fear is love. If you look at the spectrum of emotion, there's love and then there's fear. And all things that are rooted in fear come out like anger, guilt, shame, and there's a whole spectrum leading into the love. And love is God. God is the most purest, perfect love, right? And so, of course, that's our goal. However, we will move this way on occasion. I'm telling this graph is that when you're in this place, that the solution to any fear is love. And in love, where do you find love is in your self-trust and self-love. Most of us find this barrier when there's self-forgiveness not having been had yet. It sounds really silly. Most of us are really, really good at forgiving everybody else in the world. And logically, there's no reason for us to be holding any reason to have to forgive yourself within. However, when we start to explore that further, we start to see that when we forgive other people, often we'll take blame. Well, I could have done, or, giving them reasons to be forgiven, right? And then when we do that, often we'll take part of that blame and put it here. And it always ends up landing here. This is a very powerful area of our body. This whole area, this is our higher heart chakra. And then our regular heart chakra is below it. And this is where we have discernment. This is where we send out our love when we do our Care Bear stare. It always comes out right here. It comes out your hands often too, as well as your throat, though. This is the region. And this is also the region that when there's self-forgiveness needing to be had, it goes here. And it's kind of a block. Okay. And so all we need to do, it's actually more simple than you'd think, is to do self-forgiveness type meditations. There's a really good one from Brian Scott that I will post. He's from the Reality Revolution. I like a lot of his meditations. He has a way of presenting the meditation that is just beautiful. And there's the one called the forgiveness meditation. It's a 20-minute meditation. It covers 3 different areas of meditation, of forgiveness. And the self-forgiveness part was the one I didn't expect, and it brought me a lot of release. When that happened, I could feel almost physically a shell coming off of my heart chakra. And then all of a sudden, this access to this level of love that I thought I had before came in such a strong and powerful way. Self-love is where love begins. Self-trust is where love begins. All of this stuff. So trusting your own intuition and trusting yourself. And so when we get to that point, there's the seed of fear cannot exist there. For shadow cannot stand before the light. We also use the example for love and fear is light and dark, right? And so this is how it's solved. I understand exactly what you're talking about. Sometimes we need to fall apart perfectly in order to be put back together in a perfect way, and so letting things out so it can go. And if you are concerned about any kind of repercussion, perhaps engaging other people, connecting with somebody in a session format or in a group. I also offer one-on-one sessions if that's something that you're interested in. There's a lot of different ways. It does help sometimes to invite other people into our sphere. When we increase the number in the intention, everything is always more powerful. That's just how it works, so consider that perhaps. Thank you for your comment, because I know this is something a lot of people are experiencing right now. Craig plays with games. I once had a dung beetle fly in my house, very rare in England. He was awesome, such a high frequency. He was pushing stuff over on my couch, laugh out loud, and sounded like a drone when flying. That's really fun. Looking into that, to what it means. That will really help you. Vanya says, and are some of us actually catapulting ourselves into 6 and 7D? Front runners are ready. Let's go. Yeah, we are actually. Excuse me one moment. My lung. Yeah, so even farther, I've actually found experiences that are frequently had in what you would consider 9D. I do find hesitation in using the word D I'm always kind of being corrected, but there's no replacement word. Phases of development is what the closest thing they've come with, what spirits come in with. So yes, we experience in all of them. That's why we're the bridge people. So right now what we're doing, let's say that this is 3, okay, 3D, and let's call this 9. And what we're doing is we're doing this. That's why we're the bridge people, is we're existing. We tend to not exist in mind. And so our focus needs to be where we're at, to be there, right? And so we go like this. And we do this in order to, there's a bunch of people here that are on their way, but they don't really know where to go. And so as we start to cross this bridge, whether we know we're on a bridge or not, sometimes it looks like we're on a veer or a cliff, and allowing yourself to trust in yourself and feel that guidance and guiding yourself there. As you step upon the bridge, those who were kind of looking for a place to go then can see that there is a bridge there. And that's why we're doing that. We're moving like this. We're this pendulum. And so that's why we have also these ups and these downs. Like, I am feeling so great. Oh, life is just so hard. About, like maybe not to that extreme, but also just having that kind of an extreme experience. So Brandy, vertigo, major nausea, no energy, tired all the time, sadness, and bouts of anger rising out of nowhere. The month of July has been very intense for me. Born July 6th. Wow, well, happy birthday. Belated birthday. Yeah, all of what you're talking about has been happening for me as well. The no energy and tired all the time. I have learned to work in this energy because it's been happening so much lately. See, I'm just itchy on my third eye a lot right now. And that's instead of needing to move as fast as I did before, meaning completing tasks in a more efficient way, I'm letting myself do it in a slower motion pace and not having any judgment against myself for it. And I'm finding that I'm getting the same amount of things done that I do need to get done. It just feels like I'm taking extra time that I wouldn't have given myself. And it's little gifts. The sadness and bouts of anger is really, like I just mentioned, we're we're in this pendulum space, and so we're feeling a lot of these things. The bursts of anger are very foreign to me. I've not been typically an angry person. I had a period in my teens, like most of us did, though for the vast majority of my life, I'm not. And so when this anger comes in, it can rattle me if I let it, and so knowing that this is a passenger, this is a pedestrian on the street moving through and does not have any desire or interest to interact with you, just like I said earlier. And that was a message, that was a guidance from Archangel Michael, is to acknowledge it without judgment and to release it with love, to send love as we release. And often saying, I release you, or saying it in your mind, saying in some way, allowing that release to be accepted or acknowledged, you're removing consent for its interaction with you. And you're also removing your need to hold on to it energetically. Sometimes we don't know it. We're having an energetic conversation with stuff long after it's gone, so these things really do help. Often I will go outside and I'll do everything that looks and feels like shouting, except for using my voice. I don't have any desire to actually scream in the way that my body wants me to, um, with my voice. And it works just as well. What's fun about this, and I know I get teased about it's what's fun, because this stuff is fun. This is healing. This is us unlayering. We're unlayering so we can move into the higher frequencies. Remember, they're always saying you can't take your baggage on this train. That's what we're doing, is we're checking our baggage out in lockers, right? We're like, you can go back to it if you want. And so, hey, there's 111 people here. We can say goodbye to that stuff and then move into the next thing. So releasing it and letting it go. I'll go out and do that shouting thing. What happens as a result of that kind of release? Because no one else is affected. There's no reason for me to feel guilt or shame or feel bad that someone was in my crossfire of my anger. Then all of a sudden, I'm overtaken by this deep sensation of euphoria. Like, it is so amazing, this sensation that happens after a release of anger. And so I do it at the sky, because I know I won't project on any innocent passersby. So that's something that you can try as well. This is really common though right now. Irritability, anger, those types of, like, whoa, just like they just come out of nowhere. And it's like, I don't know why I'm so mad. Okay, I'm better. Is sometimes how it feels for me, though. I can feel it when I feel it boiling up. I feel it coming. Something else that happens when we do this, if we don't address it, then all of a sudden I notice that around me, there's a box that ends right below my heart chakra and begins at the top. So, like, it's like a gray box is what it feels like, a gray box that has no, so you can't access those four chakras, the heart. Well, I guess six or five, I mean, because of the higher heart, though any of these above, oh, excuse me, I'm just slurring my speech right now. Any of these upper chakras often will be turned off while we're in this place down here. These lower three chakras, if we're existing in that intense emotion, that's why that is. You're not detached. You're not removing yourself. You're not jumping off the train of ascension. Okay. So allowing that to be released and to know that it's not you is really helpful for me. When I used to be like, why am I feeling this anger? Why is this happening to me? It just brought me into a place where I was forcibly interacting with the energy instead of healing and letting it go. Let's see. I jumped, so I'm just going to pick up where luminous light. Hi, Pamela. I felt hot inside my body today and pulled muscle feeling in my arm. Interesting. So the divine feminine is the left side, the divine masculine is the right side. It does really have a lot of inner codes to find out what side of your body is being affected, and using that understanding of the divine feminine, divine masculine. I've been having this hot inside my body thing too. Usually it's one area of my body. I was noticing, like, inside my feet, like just beneath the pads or the soles of my feet, as well as the hands. The just wow, it's just, I feel so hot. And what's more is that when I would put my palms together or my feet souls together, then the temperature would become regulated. So um, this is something having to do with our activation for our healing. I know that in my hands, when this has happened, healing, laying on of hands kind of healing, and also frequency healing, doing things via Zoom kind of healing, these types of things increase immediately after that. The soles of our feet, same concept. We're healing the earth that we walk upon. There are microscopic crystals that are in the shape of a diamond. So, a diamond shape that are very thin and tiny all over in everything, including the air. Those are the sky glitter I mentioned earlier. When we have the ability to walk on the ground, what we do is what these crystals looked like before, where they looked like shingles or dragon scales, so no light can come from the earth up to assist us like it's trying to do. And now, when we're activating our feet, we find that when we step on the ground, what we're doing is we're making the crystals go like this. When we step away, it kind of drops a little bit, but now that there's an opening, like Indiana Jones, where he like moves the mirrors to make the light, it's the same kind of concept. And so we're doing that while we walk around on the earth. And in an exchange, in the Reiki of all things, the spirit always has an exchange. Everybody shares. I give you this, you give me this kind of thing. Is that when we do that, it also activates us. Setting our bare feet on Gaia, we get all of this ionization process that is done. She accepts all of our positively charged ions that causes the static and the energy of noise. She takes it and replaces it with all these negatively charged ions that are more important and helpful for us, as well as a lot of other things. We pick up minerals and things through the soles of our feet, and the largest pores in our body are there through walking on her. Even if it's concrete, it helps. So I can't remember why I went on that tangent. I hope that was applied. It's really important to be able to, if you can, be near to growing things as well. If you can't go into nature, to have go to a tree someplace, or a plant even. These things really do help us. Though if you can get into nature, that's most effective. Mariette says, are you also very hungry and longing for sweets like tarts and desserts with cream? For me, that is a change because I always like the salty food. Yeah, actually, this change has been happening the past couple of days. Days. I don't know why I said days. Months. It's been happening where the foods that had been slowly taken from our diets, from our typical day-to-day food consumption items, have been re-included here and there due to cravings. And a lot of it has been like, I don't tend to drink sweet tea, and I've been sweetening my tea. And also I've had a couple of like really typical, hey, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 things that would be considered really not good for you kind of snacks. Like I had a cupcake the other day. My body really didn't like it. And I was very committed and married to the bathroom for a little while after that, though I found that it still wanted more. So I don't really know what that is. I do know that there's a different level of thirst that we're experiencing. So many of us have been moving away from so many additives and things like that in our daily consumption of foods and drinks, that there are certain minerals and things that are required in order to quench a thirst. And so some of these things are found in these other foods. And I'm finding that to be true for myself as well. I asked the group, or I asked one of the smaller groups that I participate in about this. And I had a couple of different suggestions come up because I noticed that the thirst thing happens more often during solar flares. And some of the answers were coconut water, lemon in your water, pink Himalayan salt, just a teeny bit in your water, things like this, just to kind of like give you the electrolytes and the things that your body needs. There's a lot of different ways that you can come about this in a natural way. I thought that my body was craving sugary drinks, so I decided to just fine. I'll get some Kool-Aid and make it, and it made my mouth feel like I had just put some cleaning supplies in my mouth. It was burning, and so that wasn't what my body wanted. And then to find that, yeah, just adding a little bit more of these other minerals, so that does help. Let's see, yeah, and then I think I just got Carmen, time flies and I've had vivid dreams the whole week. Vivid dreams. Yes. Oh my goodness. The level of vividity, whatever. The deep, vivid dreams I've been having, and also having the most difficult time keeping track of time, because I do sessions with people, and I my phone is the only reason I put it in my calendar. My phone is the only reason that I'm able to ever make it on time. And it tells me I tell it to tell me when it's time, because time does not exist anymore. Sometimes it could feel like I was doing something for 20 minutes and it turns out it's been hours. Oh, Stacy, thank you, sweetie. Oh, thank you for the donation. That's very generous. Thank you. And thank you all for the support that you've given me. I am so blessed and so honored to be part of your soul family. Like, it's been such an honor and such a joy to be connecting with so many beautiful people. Like, I'm crying with love. It's just been such a profound experience for all of us. And as we connect, we are all basically pieces of puzzles, right? And as we connect and get together, then we can see what the picture looks like. We don't really have the box we can compare it to. And so um you are all like secret codes meant for each other and meant for me. So thank you for that. It's just been such a amazing blessing. In the sky, fasting now seemed to gain weight unnaturally and bloated on my fourth day, going for 6. Recommend fasting for those needing a deeper physical and energetic purge. Yeah, so this is a good idea to talk about this too. So we were talking about appetite a little bit and what we do in our daily. I trying to edit out the word diet from my life for some reason. It feels like it's not correct. Um, my daily consumption has changed over time. Like, in the beginning of my commitment, like, I've been intentionally in hibernation for a while. I've been on the awakening journey since I was 4 years old, though I put I tried to push pause a few times, and when I came back out of that pause, I was a full-on carnivore. And there was no ethical reason for me at the time to stop eating meat. It was that my body no longer accepted it. I would get sick. Sometimes I would even vomit, though usually it would go straight through me. Certain kinds of meat at first. I couldn't eat ground red meat any longer, and then I couldn't eat this and that. And before long, I had omitted all meat and all dairy from my life. And then it became certain types of processed foods, then certain foods that were contained in metal, cans and bottles, or cans and jars that were made out of metal. Um, and it just slowly evolved. During this time, I also discovered, or I realized my entire life, I've always eaten breakfast because I was taught. Turns out it was just a marketing scheme by a dry cereal company that breakfast was the most healthy meal of the day. And who doesn't want to be healthy? So I would force feed myself breakfast every day and be ill for hours after. And then when I stopped eating breakfast, I felt better. And soon I stopped eating lunch because I didn't want to. And I don't have to anymore, giving myself permission to follow my body, what my body's asking me to do. Then I'll have moments, days where it's dinner time, so that's breakfast for me. And I still am not hungry, or at least I don't have an appetite. And so I would skip that particular meal, still drinking juices and teas and water and things like that. Um, there have been Last year, I looked back one day and noticed and counted and realized I hadn't eaten for 33 days and had no idea. I knew I had lost weight, you know, and then that's not typical though. Usually I'll skip a meal here and there and find that I haven't eaten for a day or 2, 3. Excuse me. Anyway, so this is called intermittent fasting, when we go about 18 hours a day without eating. And that's typical for me. And then it'll turn into unintentional fasting. My body just doesn't want it. So anyway, this is really healthy. Most religious or spiritual or whatever, groups, before a rite of passage or some type of ceremony, will often suggest or even require that an individual goes through a fasting period. This is clearing ourselves of this distraction noise, I guess, and allowing us to be more in spirit and more in the energetic space of spirit. So it's good to talk about. Thank you for bringing that up. Um, Patriot Hero made it. Good to see you. Green is the healing color of Raphael. Yep, that's right, Fleur Lee. And green is the heart chakra color as well. So if you are looking to create healing for yourself, bringing in those colors really help. It's not a coincidence that we all feel a lot better once all the white is gone and the snow is melted. You start to see more green. That green is the color therapy that we talked about earlier. You bring the color in that you need, and that is healing. And so we all get better in spring, and so yeah, that's really a helpful thing to know the colors. Mrs. March, over the last few months, I've been feeling so much physical stuff, pain in ears and throat, and also body vibrations and like my body jumping or twitching. Yeah, yeah, this is really common. Um, the twitching, um, muscle spasms, even Charlie horses, are really typical when we're doing a severe or a deep transmutation. Transmutation is transforming energy from a denser space into a lighter space, a frequency that's higher than it was before, and so it'll cause twitching. When we do the most deep healing and deep work, we'll find that our body is twitching in this way. Our body also vibrates, which is different. The vibration often has to do with, it's like you get a straw that has maybe some you've been using it to drink, I don't know, let's say a milkshake or something, and it dried in there, and then you start to use the straw to suck water through, and there's like some kind of resistance, and so there's stuff moving through there, and that's partly the vibration thing, is we're feeling the vibration of this beautiful energy, this light that's coming up from earth and coming down into us from God. And while we're feeling that, there's a little bit of resistance as this other blockage stuff is being cleared and released. The visual I'm always given is my window and the screen. I have that mesh covering that's like we call it a screen in the States. Um, and holding a hose up against it, the water still makes it to the other side, though there's the shaking and kind of spraying on other way that happens. This is the symbol of this light that's moving through us, causing this vibration response. Once we fully clear our system, which takes some time and patience and self-love to do this, once that is done, then we don't notice the vibration as clearly. It feels more like a tickle, like was already talked about, tickle inside. It's really cool. Fleur de Lis, thank you so much, sweetie. Oh, you all are so amazing. I'm just so blessed. I got another donation. Fleur de Lis, thank you so much. I lost my spot. That is so cool. Okay. Yay. It wants me to assign people. There we go. Thank you, Fleur de Lis. You're very sweet. Carmen says, that's me. I'm bombing the heart button. Ha ha ha. Oh, thank you, Carmen. I appreciate it, brother. Prithvi, welcome. Hello, Pamela. Much love. Blessings all. Feeling heavy chest, exhaustion. Yes, the chest stuff. Thank you for bringing that up. I kind of feel solo on that. It's kind of one of those things where I think a lot of it has to do with, remember when lockdown first started and you had a cold or hay fever? I have an allergy to certain kind of hay, and I had goats at the time, and so I'd go to the stores. If I sneezed or coughed, everyone would look at me like I was a bad guy, and so I think that's part of this. I need to unbarrier myself. So I appreciate you bringing up the chest thing. I'm struggling with the chest thing right now too, and I feel like it's definitely a heart chakra and higher heart thing, because it is up. It's at the top, and this is where our higher heart is. By the way, the color for the higher heart chakra is a teal color, which is fun because it's the the throat chakra, which is blue, and then the heart chakra, which is green, and that teal together, you're speaking truth. Speaking with love is speaking truth, right? So it's pretty cool. Patriot Hero, I am having kidney stones issues and very sore muscles all over my body. Kidney stones. So the area of the kidney, what is this? I could think is that bitterness? Looking up what what kidney means, and by just going into any random internet search engine, you can type in what emotion is related to kidney. So I'm going to do that right now. What emotion is kidney? And then it'll come up. I didn't mean to write that. I probably should have done this at a later time. Okay. What emotion is kidney? Kidney is fear. There we go. And so we're having a lot of fear being resolved in this area. It's also the bladder. It's also the water element. So using water for a way of healing through that. One cool thing about us when we interact with water, it's really cool, is that we imbue the love into each of the molecules of water, but then each time that it bumps into another water molecule, it then also in turn imbues love into that water molecule, and on and on and on. It does slowly fade as it bumps. And so the more that you do it, like taking a bath, changing that frequency to love by saying, I love you, I appreciate you, you're amazing, whatever words you want to do. I hear my kiddo in the bathtub all the time. I appreciate you. Thank you for healing me. And it basically changes it to holy water. And then that medium is also used by most channelers as a way to amplify their abilities and their ability to tune into that frequency. So and any other area of the body that anybody's having struggle with, you can do the same thing. It's really useful. And it was just really quick. I just wrote just what I said, and it popped up those results, the first one, and then there was a second search result underneath it to tell me what the element that was associated with. Saul said, what was the name of the cool meditator again? Oh yeah, okay, his name is Brian Scott. Okay, his channel is the Reality Revolution with Brian Scott. So I just typed in Brian Scott. I will make a note and post that link in the comment section after this video is over. This is a really useful tool. I've shared this one out so many times. I actually replicated this meditation at one point, though it wasn't nearly as amazing and as his, in my opinion. I like other people's stuff a lot better than mine. Marcella, thumb the high heart. It helps to activate and energize and assist movement of the lymphatic system. Not a doctor here. Interesting. Huh. It's like this, huh? Yeah, that makes sense. It's actually a really good idea. Like there's a lot of other things too. This is acupuncture related stuff. So you can, most of these sites that will tell you what emotion your area of your body is associated with tend to be acupuncture like sites. There's also a thing called tapping, where people tap the meridians of their body, specific areas of their body. There's a lot of different resources on the internet, YouTube, where you can search these things and find methods of resolving them. You don't have to actually put pins, needles into your skin to get the result, though. I would be inclined to say that is the most impactful result you can get. Hi, Stacy. She says, hi, hey, Pamela. Hey, Soul Family. It's good to see you, sweetie. Excuse me. Craig plays games. Purge energy like toxins and trauma will feel much worse on the way out than they are, because your body actually fears losing them. Because when you do, you change instantly. The body fears the unknown. That's exactly right. The body is very connected, and it's also deeply partnered up with what we call ego. Ego's job is the operating program in the back of the computer that keeps it going. And its job is to statistically create the possibility or the likelihood of longevity for you to live a long time. And so the most likely way to inhibit this longevity, this long lasting life, is change, statistically speaking. That's not life, though. That is not truly living, rather, though that's just kind of how it works. And so allowing ourselves to experience past the fear and allowing it to happen really does help. I love the way you said that. It's very true. We'll even find that in uh, potty time. You know what I mean? Like your excrement leaves your body with an emotional response, especially if there's parasitical energies involved. Most of us are finding IBS like symptoms, which leads into this topic. And as a result of purging that's happening, and there's often an emotional response that we find as we're watching feeling this energy move past and out of us. as well as in any other kind of clearings and cleanings, cleansings. These spirit cleansings that we're doing is the wording that have typically been used in the um, culture I was brought up with. It's the same process. Remembering too to consent to their release. A lot of times we forget to do that. I feel like that's the most common barrier people are facing right now, is forgetting that last part, to release them, to give permission for them to leave. I just jumped all the way down. Let's see. Let me try to. If I missed your comment and it's something that you'd really like for me to um, respond to, please write it again. I apologize. I'm just going to read from the bottom up. Louise says Tarzan beats his chest to pump himself up. Yeah, and a lot of um, different types of animals do this. And it's starting their energy up, and they're gaining the bravery, or as well as, I think it's a way to show their strength to others. Um, and so, yeah, definitely that's one example. There's a lot of things throughout culture that tells you what things are for. For instance, the yellow belly. This is someone who, this is the area that fear is most commonly experienced in. That not all of them are assigned correctly. Like, I don't find that envy goes into the heart chakra, and they say that's green. So there's always things throughout the body that are meant to give you clues, and it's kind of been discombobulated along the way, so we can have to kind of follow what we call a rabbit hole. You're going down Alice in Wonderland's rabbit hole to find the answers within. Janice says, tingling in the chest. Not too sure if it's heart chakra or lungs for me, but it's not fun at night when I'm trying to sleep. Yeah, yeah. I've been having this for a couple of days. It's been something that has been a little bit annoying. And I try to I'm doing these sessions, and so I'm doing meditations where I'm trying to be present in them, and I find that I have to pause or mute in order to let myself cough, to allow this out. And that's okay, because it always works out that the person isn't disrupted, and I'm not pulled away from the meditation at all either. Jackie, thank you. She says, please hit the like button for Pamela to help her channel. It helps other people get to know that they're not alone. And I'm just amazed by how much that really does help. I lost a spot I wanted to read. Here we go. Marcella says, oh my God, I just got a WhatsApp notification from my daughter in Italy. My granddaughter was just born 30 minutes ago. Hooray. Congratulations. Emotional right now. I gotta go. Love you. Thank you for everything. Oh, congratulations, sweetie. Saul says lung sorrow. That's a very interesting. That would actually make a lot of sense. Many of us right now, whether we fully conceptualize what's happening, are going through something that feels like mourning, grief, loss, and we're not really sure where that goes and why that's there. And since we don't have a way to logic it, then we try to ignore it often. This usually, for a lot of us anyway, sensation is coming through because we're leaving behind where we've been for however many lifetimes. Some people, the number of lifetimes that they've been here for is unfathomable. And it may have not been the most pleasant energy and the most easy or efficient or simple way of being, but this has been your home. This has been where you've lived all, and how you've lived all of this time. And now that we're saying goodbye, in a way, if you want to use those words, then there's this sorrow, this mourning, this loss. Allowing yourself to honor yourself and to embrace the emotion for what it is. Allow yourself to feel it in the moment that it's in, and then to release it really, really helps. It's where we are is similar to with graduation from high school. Whatever your experience from high school was, there's still always some type of mourning. You're leaving behind these fellows, these friends, this routine, this way of knowing, and you're going out into a different place. That's probably, and you almost always know it's better than where you're coming from. However, you're still leaving behind what you've known. And so allowing yourself to honor that and to just let it be expressed so it can move out and on will always assist. If we catch it, allow it to be released before it becomes a hindrance, then it can be done with joy, as in celebration, So it's really beautiful that baby was born today on all days. It's very powerful. I'm really happy that she shared that. Fleur de Lis, thank you for all the pretty hearts. Flix Love says, from dirty old trusty waters to a fresh new ocean, yet missing the old dirty waters anyway. Yes, yes. Sometimes it's a dilapidated home. You're leaving behind a place where the pipes, poison your water, and you can't walk through the living room or you'll fall in a hole, and there's stairs on the stairway missing and things like that. Though each of those are significant, they happened while you lived there. They happened with you. You know what those holes are from. You know what those places were, and it's what you've known. So even though we're moving and in a higher state of being in a beautiful frequency, there's something beautiful about the gifts of limitation. We're being more and more reminded that remembering is the goal, expansion is the goal, reaching these higher frequencies is truly the goal. However, the gift of being here is not having those. For when you begin, when you know, then you spend most of your time remembering and fantasizing, daydreaming about the times that you didn't know, what it was like. This is really the gift of this frequency space that we're in. I've had multiple near-death experiences throughout this particular incarnation as Pamela, and every single time that I reach out beyond this body, moving into the higher frequency space, I'm met by my brothers and sisters of the light, and they always have this excited wanting to know, what was it like? What was it like to be on that ride? I want to go too, but I can't. I would love to go. What was it like? And you always want to share what we consider to be the most amazing parts, and that's the joy. That's the love. That's the feeling safe and knowing that you're in a place of camaraderie. That's the moments of celebration, family, the things that we did in order to achieve this joy, this bliss. And they always say, like, they're kind of almost not really annoyed, but they don't care about that stuff. They know what it's like to be in joy. They know what it's like to be in bliss, in peace. They know that easily. That's what life is. What they don't know about is the sadness, the mourning, the loss. In particular, believing in the illusion of separation from God's source, from others, from your fellows, from other energies, from the plants and the birds and the animals. This separation can't be replicated in any other place. And here, in this very special frequency, it can. And so as we begin to pull away from those places, from those limitations, the very gift that we're given, we start to see that we really did enjoy it, and that perhaps we may get back in line again. So just knowing that this is the good stuff. When you feel in these depression moments and these dark night of the soul moments, allow yourself to experience it. I found what's more is that when I start to lean into these pains, these emotional unpleasantness, and to let myself experience it rather than ignoring it, which is our natural course, we try to pull away and ignore it. When I lean into it and try to savor it, knowing it might be the last time I feel that sensation, that's the solution to it. It resolves it. The depression flees. So, yeah, Fleur de Lis, no thanks, don't want to come back. I know. It's really bizarre. It's one of those things. Starting to pull away back into the knowing and away from the not knowing part. There is this almost, for me, I've gone from talking for years about, I can't wait for my vacation planet. I deserve a vacation planet after this BS. And the more that now I'm moving into the know part, the knowing, I'm starting to, wow, I kind of want to do that again. And like, I don't think it's possible again. Not not in the way that we had available to us in this lifetime. It's really fascinating. Vanya, yes, I'm sad to leave behind many factors, but the new is exciting and so appealing. Yes, yes. And we're moving into it now. Motion is always happening. There is no stopping. And so when we say we're moving into it, is we're moving deeper and deeper into the pool of light and deeper into this beautiful, full understanding, the peace, and this place that we live in. There is no drama. There's no calamity. There's no distortion. There are children playing a game that come along in my path that I feel them as children playing a game with costumes and guises. However, they their drama doesn't affect because it doesn't exist. It's not real. And allowing yourself to uninvest in any result of any reality program that we have presented to us is the way that we fully embrace and set our feet planted firmly on the ground of this higher frequency space. It's a beautiful place, and we're already here. Mary says, not a hope. Am I coming back here? Yeah, I don't know if that's a question you're asking. Not a hope. Um, oh, you are coming back here. I see. Well, I mean, I have committed to be here for some time as well while we transition these souls into this higher frequency place. Um, I was surprised when I was recently presented with that mission again because my job had been done. That's it. If you want to be done, and I was surprised by how quickly, how readily I accepted to continue this mission further. And at that time, then I was strongly encouraged to start my YouTube channel. So it's been a very interesting thing living between the frequencies and throughout all of them, as many of you, if not all of you, are able to do in this very moment. Well, I see that a lot of people are having some of the same experiences. I hope that you come back and read this live chat because I did miss a lot of people's beautiful comments. Vegan Vixen or Jackie said for Vegan Vixen, I follow this guy on IG regarding slapping the body. Maybe you have seen him. So come back to this if you would. Any of you that are watching this in replay and look at these comments. By the way, the live chat comments don't reappear for a few hours or sometimes a full day after this has gone into replay mode. And so come back to it if you'd like to go back and read some of these beautiful comments that have been written here. If I had more time, I'd read all of them. Know that you're okay. All of us are going through this right now. And there's such a list of Ascension symptoms. Like, in order to read out every single Ascension symptom and also explain what's happening in our bodies would take so many hours, and what's the most consistent is that all of us are needing to rest, needing to go to a place where you can reflect. If you can go to a place that's quiet, to go into nature and have your bare feet connected with Gaia, with her soil, with the water, pools of water, bathtubs, even doing the dishes are activating and cleansing in a lot more ways than we might realize in the moment that we're in. I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you all for joining me today, and I'll see you again next Friday. Wow. Yeah, well, Friday I also have a Zoom that's free for everybody that wants to join at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as well. Hi, Wayne. It's so good to see you. As well as I will be back next Sunday at this same time. I love you all, and I will talk to you soon. Aho blessings.